Hey, how's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome back to some more Rise of Mordor Total War. Today we are on another custom map battle in an epic 3 vs 3. This should be one hell of a battle, and this is the two camps map. Basically, this does what it says on the tin. It has two camps on either side of the battlefield as both sides try to claim the other person's camp, and these battle lines do go on for quite a long time. We have multiple fights, and I want to give a massive shout out to the people who played this battle and sent it in. I really appreciate getting replays as epic as these have been. Also, a massive shout out to the map maker, because he's made quite a few of these awesome maps recently, and they just have really cool, unique and interesting designs. So definitely, you know, he should 100% carry on making these maps, as they are really exciting. So if we take a look at the map first and kind of the teams that are fighting, on the yellow side, the allied side, we do have a force of Isengard, which are mainly going to be made up of these Uruk crossbows supported by some Uruk infantry and the Uruk storm guard we're used to seeing. Then we also have another Uruk-hai army, which again is supported by a heavy contingent of crossbows. We even have some southern riders, so Harad and I believe the Easterlings are also here. We even have Sauron leading the men using the Galadriel elf submod, which adds in Sauron himself into the battle. It's just such crazy engagement. And I believe on this right flank we'll have small Uruk-hai. Are there any Easterlings on this side? It does seem like there's just a hell of a lot of Uruk-hai Eastlings on this side. Yeah, here we go. The Eastlings are situated on the left flank, whereas the Uruk-hai are going to be taking the other flanks. I imagine under the command of Sauron himself. And oh, baby, that looks insane with the fortifications and the smoke and the infantry. Crazy. Then if we take a look at the other side of the battlefield, we have Dol Amroth. This is obviously using the Rise of Mordor submod, which adds in Dol Amroth and kind of gives them some interesting units. So we have Dol Amroth, then we have the Dwarfs, I believe, who are going to be in the center. Now, this is more of Dol Amroth's infantry. You can even see their heavy guard right there. Then we have the men of Gondor, who are going to be pushing the center flank, trying to be aggressive with the support of some Dol Amroth infantry as well. But Gondor are going to be up here pushing forward, trying to get some stuff done with their sword infantry and archers and other ranged units. We even have some Dunedain back here overwatching the battlefield, and again, oh, it just looks so good. Shots like this where you can see the entire battlefield are just great. And then, as I said, finally we do have the Dwarfs, which are over on this left flank, I would imagine, and these guys are going to be looking for blood with their crossbows and other heavy infantry units. So I guess without further ado, let's just get this battle goddamn started straight into the action as we have two sides charging in. The initial battlefield is going to kick off with a army or a unit of Dol Amroth knights, which are going to be flying into the Uruk-hai. The Lancers doing hell of a lot of damage. My god, that charge was crazy. These are lightly armored Uruks, so it's kind of to be expected. But I was not expecting that much damage off of these guys from the charge. They killed a good portion of them. I imagine now, however, that the Dol Amroth Lancers are tied down in combat. They're going to be taken out, especially with the support of the rest of the infantry. Gondor are pushing up more men, though, and the Uruk-hai are preparing themselves to hold that battle line. Hold the line as the Gondorians come, or the Dol Amroth infantry come flying in. And the battle lines just clash. So it does look like the forces of good are going to be trying to assault the initial fortress to begin this battle, which is pretty impressive. The fact that they want to go in and try and get the initial assault, because I imagine, you know, this battlefield does favor very heavily the defender. But it's not like the forces of good are committing their entire army. They're sending up a few of these kind of weaker units just to see what they can, you know, kind of probe in the enemy fortress, and trying to, I guess, encourage them to maybe be a little bit more aggressive. And it's going to be heavily up to these flanks to really decide what happens in the center. Because if one of the flanks wins, they can kind of move their way around and actually kind of make their way into the fortress through, you know, through these flaming defenses right here. So it's going to be up to, you know, Dol Amroth on the left flank, or the Dwarfs on the right flank, or the Eastlings or the Uruk-hai on either flank to get damage. I also really love that we have artillery positions here. What would be really cool with this map is having the mountable artillery, so you can actually get trebuchets like mounted in on the walls. That would be really cool. And I'm also really hoping that this modder gets his hands on the latest Gondorian building update. That would be really cool if he does, because they have actually added in Gondorian buildings, which I'll be covering at the weekend. And MT, the guy who's made many an amazing map, has made a great Gondorian city map, and he's also making a Minas Tirith map as well, which is he's kind of only blocked out right now, but it's looking really, really good. So the fight in the center is going off, as we're going to actually have a unit of the Southern Lancers charging in to the Dwarf Cavalry, ripping through their flanks. And as we can see, the battle is just hectic right now, and it's kind of encouraging the Uruk-hai to break their formation and charge towards the position of the good guys, because I guess they kind of got that initial advantage. It's going to force them forward and give them that kind of that false sense of security as the Dwarf Spearmen try their best to break some of the Eastling soldiers, or maybe these are Harad. I think it's a mix of like Harad and Easterlings in this army. If I can get on them. Yeah, they're Easter. Oh, they are Easterlings right there. They look a bit more Haradian than anything else. Again, these Dwarf swordsmen are going to be broken down. The artillery, though, coming in is crazy. The amount of shots just flying in. That shot, unfortunately, missing. But as we can see, the forces of evil are being aggressive now. They're seizing the opportunity after defeating the upper positions, and now they're looking to move forward. They have Gondorian archers up here as well, who are going to be volleying in on the Uruk-hai. But it's going to be difficult work for them, because if they get too close, the crossbows of the Uruk-hai are going to start shredding these formations. Also, if they call in some artillery barrages right here as well, that could be very, very deadly, just opening up these positions. Have we got any engagements over on the other side? It does look like the Uruk-hai pikemen are going to be trying to be aggressive by the mine. They're going to be charging forward, trying to overwhelm the dwarven position. We do have some of the Vault Wardens for the dwarfs as well, so we're going to get some pike-on-pike action. Put down your pikes, dwarfs! Oh, what a well-timed pike. I don't know if that was well-timed or just pure luck. They managed to just get them pikes down and slaughter them horses. That was brutal. Rest of the Uruk-hai pikes are coming up against spearmen. It's going to be fairly easy for them to deal with. As well as that, we do have some of the dwarven axemen fighting the stormers. The Stormers are going to be one of the very, very elite units. They can even go ahead and commit more men through the bridge here. This map is just really well designed. He made quite a few of the other really cool like castle maps as well. Like this map modder, just seems like he has a really, creative eye for creating, interesting and epic balanced maps. Archer fire coming in, that's not going to be good. That's actually going to push the Dunedain back. The archers of the good guys do have a lot of range on their side, so they're going to be using that. And as you can see, the entire battlefield right now, we have the fight over on the left-hand side, covered in the mist, the center lines of the Uruk-hai pushing up. And how are Dwarf doing on the right flank? Are they really engaged or not? They still have a lot of infantry up here, but it doesn't look like they're wanting to fully engage. It seems like they've fallen back a bit. They just have a few more infantry as the Easterling archers with their short bows are just providing some more covering fire in the center as Dwarf do duel off. So it looks like they've kind of given up this right flank, which is a little bit dangerous. But again, they have a lot of elite units there to hold the line as more and more artillery barrages come in, trying to actually take out the artillery covering this left flank from the Dwarfs. The Dwarfs are ranging in some missile fire, but we'll just kind of stick in here as the fight continues. Oh, we even have Sauron himself here. Sauron is leading his Uruk-hai men with the Berserkers as well. So one of the unfortunate things with the heroes in the Galadriel Elf mod is they kind of act like an individual entity, much like any other soldier. They lock up with someone and they basically just have a 1v1. So because of that, you don't get the full epicness of like having heroes like you do in Warhammer. However, it'd be amazing if they could somehow tie like impact of like catapults onto Sauron's mace, so when he hits someone, it kind of acts like a catapult coming in or something. Like, I'm sure there are workarounds, and when Rise of Mordor officially get to making hero units, I'm sure they'll make them as smooth as possible. But right now, they're cool like visually and aesthetically, and I prefer to have these guys in the mod and just choosing to use them or not. But it is kind of underwhelming. as the Berserkers are just cutting through the Dwarven battle line. I mean, with the pike line as well, I don't really see them doing too well. Even over on this left-hand side as well, the Uruk-hai pikemen's lines are just far too vast, and their numbers with the support of a crossbow fire is just too much. And we're going to be seeing, what, this Southern Lancers? No, we're going to be seeing the Caravan Guards, the Dwarven Cavalry, actually pulling back and trying to get out of there. The front lines have now clashed as well in the center again. We have the Citadel Guard going up against the White Hand Stormers. And as we know, the White Hand Stormers are a very, very potent force. But we're already getting some of the Fountain Guard making their way up. Obviously, oh my god, they just took a volley of crossbows. That was brutal. The Fountain Guard looking very good. They need to get into combat as soon as possible. The Fountain Guard look great, they just tend not to do too well when it comes to getting kills. So they're letting their allies through the battle lines as the Citadel Guard fall back, and the Fountain Guard are going to take that over with their very, very long pikes. I think these pikes might actually be longer than the Uruk-hai ones, which gives them a huge advantage in combat. More swordsmen being brought up this time. Now we have the Wardens of the White Tower. So I think this is like Fountain Guard, but with swords instead of pikes. Just a nice little variant, as it looks like all the archer fire is just flying in on these crossbows, which is not a bad idea, because the Uruk crossbows have some great armor piercing, and they just end up melting units. You can see them doing right here with Damroth. Damroth are in a shield wall. They're just being shot to pieces by the crossbows. You know, the Uruk-hai don't want to waste their time. Granted, the Uruk-hai are taking a lot of casualties from archer fire, but they're just going to break through this formation kind of quickly. And the Eastlings over on the left-hand side do have their positions formed up. Again, I think they're just using their archer fire to try and soften up this defense, even though I don't think they're going to be too well off. Yeah, no, they're not going to be doing too much to like the infantry lines here. I think they're going to be fine. But the really cool thing is about this fortress is even if they break through this right flank, they can then come up against, you know, another layer of defense. I wouldn't mind, honestly, seeing this map without the other camp as well, just like a completely different variant. You know, just having each of these camps as two separate maps and then just having like an open field for the attacker to come in. That'd be really cool. And if the modder's watching this, or if you guys want to go over and tell the modder to make this, I highly recommend it, because like I think he could just delete all of these assets for a completely separate map and just having each of these camps, because in their own right, these camps are all both really, really cool. And it'd be nice to kind of just have like a normal siege battle with one camp and then have another completely different map to have another assault. That'd be really, really cool. So one of the enemy generals has gone down. Hopefully it's not Aragon. I don't know what general it is, because I know they do have a general, one back here. He's on horseback though, it's just a Knights of the Silver Swan. And we are now going to be getting the Eastling assault. They've pushed up some of their Vagir Mullers, or Maulers probably is going to be the correct word there. But the Dol Amroth infantry, you know, very, very elite. They are fighting axe infantry, which is always quite difficult, with the support of arrow fire as well. I love the swords on the Dol Amroth infantry as well. If you take a quick look at it, if we just actually pause it, because it is really, really cool. So I want to show you guys this little asset right here. The sword hilt right here is actually a swan for the Swan Knights. Like, how cool is that? The amount of detail in on some of these units is just so awesome. Artillery shots coming in, take cover! Luckily they missed. Oh, this one might actually get a direct hit on the allied units. No, them catapults, too inaccurate. Are we fighting over here as well? We are... Come and have a go, you bastards! Oh, I don't think you will be saying that too often as the Uruk-hai continue to push on. Does look like we have some of the Black Swan Vanguard charging up. These are heavy two-handed weapon warriors with like warhammers and halberds. And you can see they kill quickly, but they're easy targets of missile fire. That is going to be pushing back the Uruk-hai here, so not a bad position overall. And the right flank is completely caved in as these Uruk-hai, led by Sauron himself, are going to be pushing in. And it doesn't look like the forces of good have too much left. If we take a look at the balance of power, yeah, it is heavily in favour of the Uruk-hai, just with the support of Sauron being there. The extra weight of numbers really paying dividends is looking good for them. However, I imagine a lot of the crossbows are going to be dealt with now, and they don't have a ton of ammunition left, so... And the fact, obviously, that the forces of good are defending as well now, so they kind of have that, you know, defender's advantage of having the enemy like kind of go through their own positions. Let's go over to his left-hand side, see if Sauron's committing himself to the fight. He has so much HP as well, and basically one hits a lot of units, so he can tend to do just so much damage. Yeah, he's not committing himself yet. Unfortunately, you know, you don't really see him racking up tons of kills, but if he gets like a 50 to 100 kills, that's good. Because you've got to remember as well, that's 50 to 100 custom animations that he has to go through. Whereas most units which get 100 kills have 100 people to output all these commands. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at him. The Wardens of the White Tower repelling the Uruk-hai invasion, but more of them just seem to be pouring in. More pikemen, more infantry. There's only so much that these guys can do. We do have the Archer Fire set up here, and they are going to be volleying over. I imagine you can't mount these walls, which is kind of a shame. It'd be cool if you could, but I mean, it looks cool nonetheless, and we can definitely get over it. It'd also be really cool if you could destroy these walls. I imagine they're all indestructible. No, you can. I wonder how that works, though. If you can, like, catapult down these walls and open up another path, that'd be really cool as well. Oh, the Darmrov have been absolutely just destroyed here as the horse archers come flying forward. The rest of the infantry just weight of numbers with the support of the cavalry. And we can just see the amount of bodies from Darmrov just laying there on the ground as this mace cavalry push their way in. Kind of an assortment of maces, bows and swords. And they're going to be cleaning that off. We do have a unit of Darmrov cavalry though, making their way in, trying to charge in against the heavy archer cavalry of the Easterlings. But there's more Lancers coming in as well, and it's going to be a brutal charge. Yeah, it's not looking good for the forces of good. They are being overwhelmed, and the Dwarfs have kind of set up their final stand right here. As the last forces of Gondor all retreat back. They're doing a good job over here. There's just so many crossbows. That is brutal. Yeah, the Dwarven Vault Wardens are right here with their pikes. I'm going to be trying to fire. Sauron is in that front line. Look at him with his White Hand Stormers as well. More pikemen being brought up. I mean, even if these forces do go down, if they can kill Sauron, I imagine it'll be a worthwhile battle for the Alliance. The Uruk-hai pikes are here, and the Dwarfs are at a pretty big disadvantage when it comes to fighting the Uruk-hai pikes, just because their pikes are so much longer, so they can really just outrange everything that they have to kind of to go for. So we're going to end up seeing probably the Vault Wardens going down. The rest of the cavalry as well from the forces of good vote charging into the back of these Eastlings, trying to stop the rear charge going off, and probably doing a hell of a lot of damage. They're going to be followed up by these Southern Lancers pretty quickly afterwards, and the Southern Lancers seem like they can handle their own with the bow, with a spear, and obviously a mace and a shield. It looks like they can do a decent amount of damage. But, you know, the Darmrov Cavalry, the Knights of the Silver Swan, are a pretty famous unit. The Knights of the Darmrov, obviously very elite. Oh my god, this guy as well has like an arrow wedged into his chest. This is butcher's work indeed. It's a bloody battle. And it looks like the Dwarfs are going to be the only force left alive. Yeah, the whole of the men are just gone, basically. And it's up to the Dwarfs to hold this battle line. There's multiple bridges as well, which is really cool. And this is why I think it'd be really cool to do like a Osiliath map as well with the new Gondorian models. That'd be so cool, because you could make really cool bridges like this, and it'd be so good. I really hope someone does do it. Oh, the Witch King as well. The Witch King just running through. He's going to be surrounded by the caravan guard, but I can't imagine he's going to really go down as he just decapitates a few of these merchant guard. Lightly armored merchants, not really meant for heavy fighting. Oh, yeah, but that's how powerful the Witch King is. He can slay someone off their horse and they stay in place. So the rest of the battle, there's only 7 minutes left, and I think we all know how this battle is going to end up. However, we will watch it to the end. I feel like we owe the Dwarfs this much as they make their final last stand. this is the biggest problem for the Vault Wardens. Their pikes just aren't long enough to deal with the Uruk-hai pikemen. They really just get outmatched because their pikes are so much longer. We're having more Dwarven battle lines up here, but again, they're going to be coming up against pretty heavy units, forming that amazing testudo, which is so cool. But the Uruk-hai pikemen will actually get on board with them as well as they push forward. The Dwarven shield wall is not going to be enough, and in these tight spaces, the pikes just reign supreme. I don't think the Dwarfs have any crossbows left to really deal with this, because these guys die very quickly to crossbows. So if the Dwarfs could have like filtered their crossbows in, that would have been deadly. We even have the cavalry, and oh my god, the Dwarfs just seem like they're so tiny compared to the huge horses. They are spearmen, so they're going to be having a nice little bit of defense against these. But we then have these Easterling. Oh my god, this unit looks amazing! The Easterling halberds? Oh, that is great! That is an awesome looking unit. This is obviously from the sub-mod, I believe, but yeah, this is a really, really cool looking unit. I love the Easterling armor, which is from the original, from the official Rise of Mordor mod. And the Mordor is just obviously added in these really cool looking weapons. These weapons will be good for like elven units as well. But the halberds are going to be holding this battle line, and the dwarfs are engaged on every single front right now, and they have just completely been pushed back. Yeah, but like, this map, as I was saying earlier, would be so good just if they, like, each individual camp was its own map, you know? Like, it'd be a really, really nice siege defense. Because they're both unique enough that they have their own feel to it, and like, he's done a great job. Like, this is kind of more of a bare minimum. You know, there's not as many bridges or like heavily armored positions, but there's still lots of places for attackers to come in and try and assault in a nice fallback position. And then this one's kind of more of like the built up area with like heavier fortifications and stuff. It's a really cool map. I honestly really hope that he continues to make more and more of these maps, because he's been absolutely killing it. I think I've covered every one of his maps. Or actually no, there's one map which I haven't covered quite yet, but I'm obviously going to be doing that very soon. More Uruk pikemen covered. The Dwarfs just don't stand a chance as Sauron continues to rack up kills. How many kills is Sauron on right now? If we can find him. Lord Sauron, he actually said it there. 23. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's been in combat for a long time and he's only got 23 kills. Doesn't really seem a lot. Maybe they could make it so that the leaders have a unit with them. So like, kind of like in the Seven Kingdoms mod, where Sauron isn't just an individual dude, he's kind of got a bodyguard of orcs with him or something, you know? That could be kind of cool. Maybe not for Sauron, but for the Witch King, maybe the Witch King could have a range of like heavy armored Númenórean knights or something. You know, Aragorn could be with an army of like elite Dunedain or, you know, Fountain Guard, depending on what era he's on. And oh my god, the Witch King just got slain! The Witch King just got killed, wow! That's going to be bad for morale. I mean, the Witch King is down. If they can kill Sauron, I class this as a moral victory, right? The Witch King, and no man can kill him, but someone managed to. Obviously, it was a dwarf, that's why. So if they can just kill Sauron, this is a moral victory for the forces of good. Sauron's going to go over and probably revive the Witch King in some way or form, because the wraiths cannot be killed. This tactic of having infantry in the front line and pikes behind is just very, very, very dangerous. Only 3 minutes left now of this 5-minute last stand. 2,000 evil men and Uruk-hai still survive this battle. I mean, it was a bloody engagement though. They did end up losing, you know, 4,500 soldiers. This is the forces of good could not, you know, take them out as Sauron charges in here. Oh wait, is he? No, he hasn't been killed. For a second I thought the Grimhammer slew him down, but they just don't have enough left. He's going to be getting back up, unfortunately. Yeah, like how awesome would it be if Sauron could just swing his weapon and all of these soldiers just go flying, like as if a catapult got a direct hit in the center. Like, that would be amazing. because there are trolls in the mod as we speak. I think it's in a work in progress build that I have, and I've done a few videos on them as well. And they're trying to work out the elephants to like they're trying to work the trolls to be kind of like elephants with their impact damage. But trying to kind of sort out their sounds and stuff is a pretty big thing. And they have managed to actually find a way to add in custom sounds. So if they can, add in custom sounds to the trolls, make them kind of impact like a elephant trunk and stuff, then we can have some really cool looking units and get the animations, which I think they're reworking on the animations as well. The Dwarfs are only a minute left. Let's go ahead and triple speed through their final stand because there's not really much left to see. This flank, I imagine, this flank's actually done a great job considering how long they've held. This is very impressive. I mean, they're routing now and everyone else is getting run down. But hey, the Dwarfs held much longer than the men, so you cannot blame them for that. They just needed maybe a few more like infantry units, a few more archers to deal with the crossbows, and then maybe they could have claimed victory. There we have it, the battle is over. Evil has once again reigned supreme. I'm interested to see the kills though. Aragon not getting a single kill. I imagine he got focused down with missile fire pretty heavily. Taking a look at the first Uruk-hai and Harad army, all the Uruk-hai infantry just doing so well, and these crossbows doing amazing. The Eastling force, again, infantry just doing really, really well. Then the final force led by Sauron. The infantry not doing as crazy, but the crossbows just really brutal stuff. We take a look at the Gondor forces. The Wardens of the White Tower, 143 kills. Very nice there. The Dwarven battle line, nice. 240. And 300 on this unit of Vault Wardens. Amazing. And then finally, Doamroth doing okay. Just couldn't kind of survive the amount of missile fire coming in, unfortunately. This cavalry, though, getting 147, so that's pretty impressive. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. Do make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Subscribe and hit that bell button so you always get notified when my videos go live. Be sure to keep an eye on the channel as well, because I'm going to be doing the Gondorian architecture in a really awesome custom map battle very, very soon. The cities look like Gondor. It's just amazing. So yeah, I will hopefully see you guys in the next one.